All right, let's start in the system with the introduction of repetitive manufacturing, which was introduced in the scope item 54U with the 2105 release. And the first thing we want to do is we want to take a look at the app, Manage Repetitive Manufacturing. And here in this app, we see our planning plant, which is 1010 for Germany. And we want to select our production version by material. And here we want to take a look at our semi-finished good 011. Let's execute the whole thing. And then we're going to come into the planning table. So here you have a screen for total capacity data. This is the requirement for the proposal of the capacity. And here's actually the available capacity. So meaning today is the 12th of May. And here we have a proposal of 4 hours and a total capacity of 8 hours. When we go down here on material data level, we can plan the whole thing, for example, on our work center winding. And here we see our planning pieces that we plan to produce on the following days. So maybe on the 19th, we plan with 200. And then I can change that. And we can take a look next on the stock requirements list, what's actually happening. So let's have a look at the material coverage. And I want to check it as a production planner. And I want to check my raw material RM013 because I want to know what's happening with that one for my semi-finished goods. And here I see that I'm in the minus with 4,400 pieces. And let's see what's actually happening. Here in our stock requirements list, we see that we use the MRP standard and we have 7 shortages. And here, for example, on the stock level without safety stock, we have a quantity of 5,600. And on the 12th of May, we have our first requirement for 10,000 pieces, which brings us down into the minus. And also on the 14th, we have the next one with 5,000, which brings us even further into the minus. Here on the 18th, we have a purchase order, which should bring 9,900 pieces. So we are back on track with 500 pieces. And down here on the 25th, we have our first scheduling line from our supplier. And the system already tells us we should reschedule it to the 18th of May. Otherwise, we will run into problems with our production or problems in our supply chain. So what can we do? We can talk also with our supplier and tell them, hey, we need the scheduling line actually coming in on the 18th. We have lots of demand coming in from sales and marketing. Our customers really want our stuff. So we need to find a solution. And we talked to our supplier again. And he said, okay, he cannot really change the scheduling lines, but we already have a purchase order here. Here we see a nice graphical view of our shortage on the 18th. And here the system proposes us different actions. And here on the 18th, for example, we already have a purchase order item. We could create also new ones for the 20th of May. But as we already talked with our supplier, we really need to increase the one for the 18th of May because we have a quantity of 9,900 and only 500 pieces available. So we need to change this purchase order and increase it by 14,000. Here the system simulates that once we increase the amount in our purchase order that we actually solve the shortage. Here we see that 11,500 can be now covered. And yeah, let's create our purchase order by clicking on apply. Here we have certain system proposals and we want to change actually our quantity. And now we have a total quantity of 23,900 that we want to order. So we will click on OK. The system is saving. You can see graphically our shortage has been solved. And now we'll move back to our stock requirements list. And here we see that with that new ordered quantity of 23,900, we see that the rescheduling has been done with that quantity increase. So now, in the last step, before we can confirm the repetitive manufacturing, we want to stage our materials for production. We stage our products for our production by going into the app Stage Materials for Production. And here in the app, we see the plant in 1010, and we have a selection horizon for requirements. And here, it's going to the 19th of May. Down here, we have our components, and I want to check our raw material 013, which I want to stage for our production. And here, I can then click on replenishment proposals, and the system actually gives me then the quantity stage proposal I need. And here I see the net requirements quantity till the 12th of May of 29,500. I see my available stock of 5,000 in my issuing storage location of 101B. And here I have the missing quantity again, which was also proposed by the system. Next step is I want to take a look at the replenishment elements. And here I see that I need staging storage location. So I want to actually move it from 101B to 101C in my production. And I only want to move maybe 1,500 because my available stock is 5,000, and I want to be careful because I'm not 100% sure if my supplier maybe will supply in time, or I just want to sort of like move a little bit so I can produce with the shortage I have at the moment. So what I will do is I click on stage. So here my status or staging status is actually okay, and I can save the whole thing. So now the document was posted. Let's finish this process by looking at the goods movement, for example on inventory level. We can go into the app Manage Stock, and here we can look for our raw material RM013. And here we clearly see that we moved our goods from 101C to 101B, because before we had a stock in 101B of 5,000, and we actually moved, remember, the 1,500 from 101C to 101B. And now in 101B, we find 6,500. We can also then see the goods movement in a different view or document view when we go to Material Document Overview here in this app. And remember, we had a material document of 49,000,23577. And by clicking on it, we can actually look at the material documents overview. And here we see our raw material 0RM013 with the corresponding material document when we did the confirmation. And here we also see in the process flow the issuing stock, the receiving stock, and then here, down here, we actually see the move. All right, that was it for repetitive manufacturing. I hope you enjoyed.